it didn't piss me off. It didn't piss me off. But what it did is it woke me up. Was
Sure.
like, man, we do so much thinking that we can do it ourselves, and we waste so much time.
Yep.
And if we would just get with somebody who knows what they're doing, we may pay the money up front, but we get it all back in time.
My boy called me on Thursday and he was like, "Oh, pulling out," and I didn't get the call. Friday, my account was down to 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Lunch with the Cool Kids, where I'm not the cool kid you are. My name is Gerald Davis, and wherever you're listening, however you're listening, thank y'all so much for joining us. Season 2, we're doing nothing but dropping gems, and hope y'all enjoyed season 1. That's not right. Well, you know what? I take that back. I do hope that y'all enjoyed season 1. Because if you're like, man, season 1 was terrible, that'd hurt my feelings. I hope y'all enjoyed episode 1 of season 2. This year, we're dropping nothing but gems. And I'm committed to bringing you guys value. Like, not just like, how do you know Will Smith walked through the snow? Because you see the Fresh Prince. Ha, 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 ha. Not that type of value. I'm talking about value that's going to change our lives. I was talking to our guest who I'm going to introduce you to in 30 seconds, but I was talking to him, and we were talking about how 6 figures is not what 6 figures used to be like 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Like 6 figures, like, to have 6 figures these days, to be considered a 6-figure person, like you got to be like mid 6s. So our goal this year on Lunch with the Cool Kids, hey man, let's get you to those mids. And no better person to start us off than the man himself. The man. He's just the man. And as we keep talking, I'm gonna tell you why. His name is Elijah Black. We're going to call him EJ. And his paycheck, his direct deposit says financial advisor, but he does so much more. So without further ado, we're going to get into it. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome Elijah Black to the show. EJ, how you feeling, man?
Man, I'm feeling good, bro. I'm excited. I'm honored that you asked me to be on your show. So I'm ready to get into it. We're going to get into some real, good topics. And so I'm excited.
Listen, okay. So I'm excited too. This is my I'm excited voice.
Mine too.
So you're a financial advisor. Like that's like when you file your taxes, that's what they say. What do you do?
I'm glad you asked me that. So, Gerald, I tell people, when people ask me what I do for a living, I help people find money.
What? How do you help people find money?
That's typically the face I get when I tell them, here's what I do know. Individuals, families, small businesses, every day, hundreds, if not thousands of dollars are falling through the crack. And the real question is, when I help them find those dollars, what do they want to do with them?
So you are going to find the money.
That is absolutely correct.
Okay. So I like money.
Me too.
I like money a lot. And I feel like that, like if you found me some money, I'd be grateful. Mm-hmm. So if I'm coming to you for the first time and I'm saying, hey, EJ, listen, find me some money. Mm-hmm. What's the first place we start?
Ooh, that's $1 million question, right?
That's why I asked. That's why I'm here.
So I like to tell people, I do comprehensive, financial planning. We start from the very bottom. We sit down, we have a meeting, could be 30 minutes, could be an hour, it could be 5 hours. It doesn't matter. My time is your time and your time is mine. And we just go over, we establish some goals, we see what your needs, your wants, and your wishes are. And so
My needs,
your wants,
my wants,
and your wishes.
and my wishes.
Right?
Okay.
And we break those into 3 different categories, and then we just have a conversation, and we talk. I might ask some tough questions. We find out how much debt you're in. We find out how much you're putting into savings currently. We find out what what you really want to do, and like, when do you want to retire? When I put it like this, I don't just ask when do you want to retire, right? I say, when do you want to be in a position where you have the option to retire, and where you have the option to work or not. And so we find out that, and then we backtrack to where you are now, and that's A, and that's C. Like we were talking about earlier, my goal is to help you with the B.
I would imagine that you get a whole bunch of different answers because
a whole bunch.
Because like when you say, when do you want to retire? I want to retire tomorrow.
Correct. Oh, okay. All right. That's good. Yeah. Me too. Nothing wrong with wanting it. Hey, but we might put that in the wish category.
Yeah, let's put that back there. So let's go back to the need right now.
Correct.
Like right now, I want to retire. I can't retire. Mm-hmm. What do I need? And I'm not even in the questions yet. Like this is just interesting.
Yeah. There's 4 levels, and they talk about it. Financial advisors out there will very much smile or laugh when I say this, but it's a similar analogy that everybody uses, and it's building your financial house. And there's floors to it. But what's the basis of any house that's being built?
It's gonna be the foundation.
Correct. You build the foundation.
Let me tell you how nervous I was when I answered that question. I was like, man, don't get it wrong, Gerald. Don't get it wrong.
You knocked it out the park, bro. So, the fact that you already know, you knocked it out the park. But yeah, is the foundation. Any house that's built on rocky foundation doesn't have a chance to last long. And so foundation.
Financially, what's a rocky foundation?
Ooh, not knowing what your cash flow is. Okay, and so cash flow is. Go ahead. You want to sit on that for a second?
That's got to breathe for a little bit.
Let it breathe.
Because I know a lot of us that stung a little bit. Mm-hmm. Because as you're casually breezing through it, like probably 85% of us are like, what? Mm-hmm. I know what my check says, and I know what my bills are. Mm-hmm. And I just try to get those to meet in the middle, and whatever happens.
Correct.
So I know my lights are on, but I don't know what my cash flow is.
Correct.
When that happens, do you go back and start working on those parts of the foundations?
Yeah, and it depends on where you are on your journey. But my first answer is always to say, congratulations. Like, you've kept your lights on. If that's where you feel you're at, congratulations. You're doing something right. You know what I mean? You're making sure that your bills are getting paid. You're making sure for families, you're keeping food on your kids' table, or you and your spouse's table. Congratulations. You've kept a job, and you don't have any liens or collections. And even if you do, we can still start from wherever you are. Congratulations for sitting down with me and having a conversation, because you want to do more. You want to be better, and so we start from the very beginning. And cash flow, when I talk about that, that's not only your money, it's your money coming in and coming out, right? It's your expenses. It's, do you have an emergency cash fund? Do you have 6 months of savings that if you lost your job today would take care of your bills?
I'm gonna tell you that most of us are gonna say no.
Absolutely, that's the answer.
We're gonna 100% say no. Mm-hmm. And I wonder, because inflation hit us all.
Ooh, my
Jesus of Nazareth.
Yes. Little tiny baby, 8-ounce baby Jesus.
I think he was bigger than 8. No, he was definitely bigger than 8 ounces.
8 pound, 8 ounce.
I know my Savior was bigger than 8 ounces. I know he was. But yeah, as baby Jesus is in that, as he's in that manger, all of us, we're trying so hard to adjust and whatever. And so you're building business. You're trying to build business, trying to build wealth, or get out of the hump.
Yeah.
As I like to say. And everybody's hump is different.
Yep.
But most of us got a hump.
Yep.
So as we're trying to get out of the hump, we're still spending, 9 months ago, $9 on eggs.
Sure.
So it's very hard for me to come to you and say, hey, I'm trying to get this 6 months, but I just spent $28 on eggs. So like for that person, what's the move?
Yeah, and that's I'll say a difficult question in the sense that I know these people, right? I know people that are like financial advisor, bro. I can barely buy eggs, like you mentioned. I can barely buy milk. The prices of everything going up. Like I am, doing everything I can. I'm putting $100 into a savings account, and I say, okay, that I'm glad to know that information. Let's sit down for one. Let's see what you currently have, right? Let's see across the board. Are you putting money into your 401k? You are? Okay, great. If you're an entrepreneur, 1099, are you putting some money into some retirement vehicle, right? Okay, do you have credit card debt? Okay, boom. Are you paying off the high APR credit cards first, right? And then what I really have people do that tell me like they don't have a single dollar. Because here's what I do know, Gerald, and I've been doing this a while, and I've been having these type of conversations with a lot of people. I can find money with every single person.
That makes me smile on the outside and the inside because we need money found. And I think sometimes, EJ, man, we get so much in the hustle and bustle of life, especially us entrepreneurs and people who are building stuff. Like we get so much into the ebbs and flows of things. Like it's hard to step out of that and talk to somebody and like, hey, how can you help?
Yeah.
So when you just said that, I'm pretty sure like 80% of my audience was like, whoa, I need to talk to somebody who can find me some money.
Yeah.
So we come to you and we like, hey, EJ, find me some money. What do you do?
Now, I will say, while it makes people smile, my next statement is...
Don't say it. Don't, man. I'm smiling.
Yeah,
don't take my smile.
We here to have difficult conversations, right? The cool kids, they got to be ready for some difficult conversations.
You're right. All right. Lay it on us. All
right. So the first thing I'm going to say is the first thing I'll have, anybody that comes to me. So because you're coming to me or because you're willing to sit down with me, which I'm truly honored, because I don't care if you have $100 in the bank or 100,000 or 100 million, like you are very important to me. And I'm honored for the fact that you want to sit down to me and discuss finances, because this is what I do. This is what I love. I tell people I love educating people on financial literacy and then teaching them about financial responsibility so that they can ultimately get to the point where they are achieving financial freedom. So we go from literacy to responsibility to freedom, right? And
that makes sense.
I love teaching people and being on people's journeys along that way. Now, there will be some tough conversations. So if somebody tells me, I just don't know how, let's say I sit down with somebody and I'm like, you don't have enough life insurance. Like if something were happening to you today, how's your family gonna, move on? We don't like to have those morbid conversations, right?
Yeah.
But I help people have those conversations. And somebody says, well, I don't have any dollars left to spend towards life insurance. Or if I tell people, do you have enough disability income? And that's the next layer of the house. That's actually like the first floor, and that's protection, right? And that's insurance wise, disability and protection, long-term care, and life insurance, right? So I have clients of that nature do exercise for me. I say, hey, take this sheet, and I don't call them budget plans.
Okay.
Budget plans, when people hear budget, they think I'm restricted. And nobody likes to be told what they can't do. Right? We're grown adults, right?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like I'm a grown adult. Don't be telling me what I can't spend my money on. Right? And I'm like, I don't call them budget sheets. I call them spending plans.
I like that. I like that.
So, because what that'll tell me is, and I'll say, hey, take this over a week or take this over a month, and I want you to write down everything you spend money on, every dollar. If you bought canned Skittles at the Quick Trip, I want to know, right? If we went out and you had a baller weekend, with Johnny at Ember, yeah. I want to know about it, right?
Shout out to Johnny at Ember.
Shout out to Johnny. I want to know about it, right? But what it also told me was like, because people have passions that they spend money on, and I don't want to be the person that tells you not to spend money on your passion. I'm a golfer, right? I love to play golf. Well, if you don't, as a financial advisor, as anybody that doesn't play golf, and you see somebody spending $500 a month, or even let's narrow it down because that may be a little high. Let's say spending $100 a month, a couple rounds of golf, a month.
Yeah.
And I look at you and say, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. Well, you're turned off because you're like, this is my passion.
This is the thing that keeps me going.
This is what keeps me going. So I don't want to restrict people. I want to find out, like, what do you really want to do? And then let's find out where the excess money is going, because I guarantee you there's something where you went out to dinner and you spent $150, but both of y'all had 2 drinks, okay? Because we know in Atlanta, a date night, me being a single man, I tell you, a date night is $150.
Listen, let me take a pause right here and say, ladies, if you want a good time in Atlanta and gonna guarantee that $150 minimum is gonna be spent on you.
Man, don't be telling them that. I'm trying to restrict it.
We gonna put his ads at the bottom of the screen. So bare minimum 150 is coming your way.
Yeah, you're gonna have a good time. All right, I'll tell you that, ladies. If you go out with me, you're gonna have a good time. But I find those dollars, and again, I guarantee you, I can find at least $200 a month. And then I have that conversation after a couple of weeks or that month. And then we have a real conversation. Gerald, so you did this exercise for me, and I really appreciate it. And I've gone through the numbers, and I see that you're spending X on this entertainment. Let me ask you a question. Could you still, survive and be good if you went out to dinner, but you spent $50 instead of $100? Would you be okay with that? Or if you spent 100 instead of 150, how about that? Let's go with that.
Okay.
All right. That made you feel a little better because we are in Atlanta. Yeah. 50 may just be for yourself. No. Okay. Would you be okay, Gerald? Instead of spending $150, you spent $100.
Yes, I would. But I'm going to say that I'm a family of 5.
Sure.
And I know that we're just saying numbers or whatever case, but I'm sure there's somebody out there that's listening that has 3 kids as well. Yeah. So,
3 girls, right?
3 girls.
Man. Whew.
3 girls.
Got the shotgun?
Listen, I got something a little bit more precise.
Okay. Say less. Say less.
I'll say that.
But you get the premise, right? So it could be a family of 5. It could be a family of 10. But I could see what they're spending and say, hey, would you be okay spending $50 or $100 less in that one instance? And then we multiply that. Let's say you did it 3 times in that month. Okay, we just found $150, right? Then, boom. All right, let's take this, and this. Would you be okay spending this instead of this? And most of the time, Gerald, people are like, yeah, I did probably, because we're having honest conversations. And the one thing I like to do is be vulnerable with people and tell them I've been there. Yeah. I've made 6 figures and seen my account in the red. Like real talk.
See, that makes me feel good.
Like,
that makes me feel good to hear, because I think a lot of us think that because you're on the other side of that table that you got the whole thing figured out.
No.
And that's intimidating to us.
Yeah, it really is. And I think that's, again, I don't need to badmouth other financial advisors to up
I think
myself,
you should.
right?
That's
No, because our industry as a whole probably gets a stigma. You know what I mean? Like, we might be money grabbers or trying to take advantage of people. Really, you can do it on your own. And listen, if you want to open up a Charles Schwab brokerage account and trade stocks on your own, I support it.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you something right now. I'm gonna tell you something, and you know this, so you can take a drink of water. I'm gonna talk to these people right here. You can't do it on your own. You can't do it on your own. Whatever EJ just said is blasphemy. You think that you can do it on your own. We think that we can do a lot of things on our own.
Facts.
I'm gonna tell you a story. I have 3 girls, Savannah, Lee, and Amaya. Right now they are 11. How old are they? They're 11, they're 9, and they're 8. They all just had birthdays. Okay. As a dad, as a father, as a black father, for whatever reason, I thought my role in their life was to teach them how to swim. I'm going to teach these girls how to swim. I've been working on teaching them how to swim for 3 years. All what happened is they can't swim. I drag them around the pool.
That you got to the punchline already.
It's not the punchline.
Oh.
It's a very, very good setup. I liken myself as a storyteller. So I drag them around the pool. I'm frustrated. Tell them to kick their legs. Tell them to hold their breath. All of that good stuff. They can't do it. 3 years. This year, we were finally able to get them in swim class. Got them in swim class. One lesson for 45 minutes. They accomplished more in 45 minutes than they did in 3 years with me. Not because I didn't want to teach them, because I wasn't qualified. I had the passion to teach them, but I didn't have the knowledge and the tools to take them from point A to point B.
Speak on it.
They are now, this is like their 4th or 5th week in class. They look like Little Mermaids.
Yeah, they about to go to the Olympic trials.
Man. And it didn't piss me off. It didn't piss me off. But what it did is it woke me up. Was like, man, we do so much thinking that we can do it ourselves, and we waste so much time. And if we would just get with somebody who knows what they're doing, we may pay the money up front, but we get it all back in time.
That's the greatest compliment, and like it almost, like I would say, almost brings me to tears. And I don't have no problem admitting I'm an emotional man. Is that when a client thanks me and says, like, I couldn't have done it without you, and thank you for pushing me to pushing my boundaries, pushing my limits, like making me have the hard conversation, because now I feel like I'm in a way better position. I don't ask for anything more than that,
When you said that that we think that we could probably do it by ourselves, like that is the man. If there's one thing that I could encourage people on, is that you probably can, but you probably can't.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, even before I got in the industry, 10 years ago, I opened a Charles Schwab account. I think I put, $5,000 in it, traded on my own. I think I got it up to like $8,000, which was pretty good. And then the whole Bitcoin thing came on. And again, this is not a knock against crypto. I'm not even here to talk about that. But it was actually on the stock side. They had like an ETF, which was like, it was less volatile than the coin itself. Yeah. And it went up, like shot up. It went from like $8,000 to like $14,000 Bro, I called my boy because we were both in it. And I'm like, yo, you check it out. Blah, 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 blah.
Going to Sizzlers on me.
Yeah. I was excited as all get out. And then that was on a Tuesday. I remember it like it was yesterday. Bitcoin did what it did, when it has one of those major drops. And I didn't monitor it every day. That just wasn't me. I worked. And my boy called me on Thursday and he was like, oh, pulling out. And I didn't get the call. Friday, my account was down to $1,000. I went from 5 to 14 down to 1. Man, I was so mad. I took that $1,000 out so quick, bro. I was like, so to your point, like, yes, you can, and you may, luck up. There's the GameStop people that like lucked up on some stocks, or if you knew Moderna was going to rise during pre-COVID and you lucked up and were in Moderna, it shot up. It went up from like 89 to like almost 400, So if you had a lot of stock in it, you made some money, you might have lucked up. But over time, you have to be, have more luck than skill. So yeah, I agree with you. Like, getting with somebody, qualified. And I was that same person, man. I feel like at this point I've lived 7 lives. I don't know if you know this. Like, I was a D1 athlete, and then I was served in the Navy.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, I didn't tell you my story. Yeah.
Will, no. Will, what we're gonna do is it's gonna have to be another episode because that's what. That's a whole nother thing. Okay. So let's just leave it at you live 7 lives, and now you're on the 7th life.
Yeah, I'm on life 7. Yeah.
Okay. Spending $150 minimum on the date, ladies.
Man, stop trying to give me dates.
On the date, we're gonna put the at. Okay.
Always bet on Black 06.
I like it. Man, that's a good name.
Yeah, my last name is Black, so I run with it. So, shout out to my dad, Albert Black.
And he's smart, ladies. And he's smart. Listen, okay. My God.
And you know what the 06 is for. You already know.
Listen, would y'all be mad if we just sung a hymn?
First of all, servants of all.
We shall transcend all. That's what they say.
That's what they say.
I don't know if these new guys are transcending.
Oh, yeah. Well, we won't talk about that.
Yeah. I want to say this real quick. It would probably be hard for me to be an alpha these days. Like, if I wanted to pledge or intake or whatever we're doing, if I want to go through the intake process these days, and I saw like the boys on the yard, like, I would feel like I couldn't do it. Cause like the train that they doing now, they're doing the high leg split. Like, man, like I want to be an alpha. My leg don't go that high.
It don't.
What are we gonna do? I don't know. That's neither here nor there. Neither here nor there. Okay, EJ.
Yes.
So
that's the process, right? So
no.
Gotcha.
No. I want to. I want to get to this next part, but I think that it was important that you said when you was talking about foundationally and things like that. I noticed that you said a whole bunch of insurance.
Yeah. Well, that's the first floor. The foundation. So there's cash flow. Let me just explain the four levels, and then cash flow is first level.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the foundation. That's your income, your output, right? Your expenses, your emergency fund, your spending plan, and your emergency cash flow. Those are the big pieces of the foundation.
Before anything else happens, those need to be in place.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Correct. But at the same time, kind of simultaneously, you're building the first floor. Okay. And the first floor is protection. Protection is via forms of insurance. Again, life insurance, disability insurance, and long-term care. And most people with disability, they kind of take it as, oh yeah, and I was the same way. Oh, my job provides disability, and most people haven't even looked into their policy. They don't know that it's only going to cover you for 6 months. It's only going to cover you for 60% of your income. Well, you ask yourself, can you live on 60% of your income for 6 months? Cool. If you're a single guy like me, and it happened to me, I tore my Achilles trying to think I was young playing basketball.
D1 athlete, ladies and gentlemen.
And had to live on 60% of my income for 6 months. But what if you're disabled for a year? What if you're disabled for 2 years? What if you're disabled forever? The funny thing is do you know more people have car insurance than disability insurance?
I can see that.
Do you know that it's more likely for somebody to become disabled, like 10x, than actually get into a car accident? Like and then they break it down by age ranges. Obviously, the 25 to 35 range, the 35 to 45 range. You know, the 25 to 35 range always thinks they're invincible.
Of course.
They never think anything's going to happen to them. Well, I was 31 when I became short-term disability. Like, and it could be a freak accident, but it also could be something like that we don't see coming, and that's cancer, right? And cancer doesn't care who it comes to. And you could be out for a long time. I wear, this. I have a, breast cancer bracelet. My sister was 35 when she was diagnosed with breast cancer. And so, she passed away. And so it's very something that I talk about even with my clients. My mom and my sister had breast cancer at the same time. So it was wild. But it's real. Cancer does not care. And so, and if something were to happen, are you protected your income? Can you, enough to pay your bills? So we have disability insurance that can provide for a lifetime, right? Life insurance, should something happen to you, like most people, again, through their job, they have 50K, they have 100K. And in our minds, we have to wrap our heads around this. Like I talk to clients and they think, I got 100K of life insurance. And they think that's a lot.
Man, you have no idea how, I'll say this, you have no idea how fast 100K goes until you have to live on 100K.
Until you have to live on it. It is not. I think I was talking to somebody yesterday, a young lady, and talked about insurance, and she said she had 100K, and she was, thought that was enough. And I was like, well, should you decide to have kids and your husband, do you think that's enough? And we kind of joked around. She was like, baby, them kids gonna have to start having jobs as soon as they come out the womb, because that's all they gonna get.
You have to start contributing.
Yeah, they're gonna start having to contribute. Like as soon as they born, the light bill in their name, like you gonna have to start paying these bills. So we had a good laugh, but it's not enough. 100K is not enough. So we have different things that we can explore. If the budget is really low, at least get into a term insurance. There's term and there's perm insurance. Term and permanent. Term insurance, relatively cheap as long as you're in really good health, but term is it's a rental policy, and as soon as that time, you could do a 10-year, 15, 20, 30-year, but at least if you have something in place. It's kind of a placeholder. And it relatively cheap. We're talking you can get, $500,000, $1 million policy for, and again, don't want to, less than $100 a month if you're in relatively, good health, and, non-tobacco and, and different things will raise your premium. And so we talk about that, as well. But you can get into some placeholders, because that's ultimately it's not that I'm here to make money off of you. If I find out you only have $100,000 insurance, I'm like, we need to get you into a policy tomorrow. Like we need to, something like we need to do that. And so that's the first level. So then the second level is then when we start to talk about retirement. Yeah. All right. We started talking about what's your retirement plan? What are your goals? What do you want to do? You want to travel the world? You want to buy a house? You want to buy a boat? Again, needs, wants, wishes, right? And then we start to talk about investments and how we can help get you to that overall goal. And, we use proprietary, or I should say I use proprietary software where I can input all the information. Again, info in is info out, right? Good info in, good. So the more info you give me, and it'll run through 1,000 Monte Carlo simulations. And Monte Carlo is a card game, and people can look it up. And it'll tell you the chance of success at the age that you want to retire, based on what you're currently doing, and then I can then provide recommendations and show you how we can improve that chance of success.
I bet that's very sobering.
Very. When somebody sees that their chance of success doing what they're currently doing to have enough money in retirement is 30%.
Yep.
Like, how does that make you feel?
Yeah. Man. Okay, let me ask you this. I can hear the people on the other end saying, EJ, all of that's good. That's wonderful. Your braids are fresh. I'm with it. How do I get to that bag?
Yeah.
I want the bag.
We all do. Yeah. I mean, you know, and again, you know, I know you're talking about entrepreneurs and small businesses, which I also help, right? And so, you know, there's insurance products that make money, right? Like, there's different vehicles out here that you can go into that'll provide protection, but also give you upside potential. The great thing about being in this world is that there are so many products out here that the common people just don't know about.
Ooh. What?
Well, so I'm bound by certain regulations and restrictions. I can't talk about certain products, but if you give me a call or, you know, find me, we can talk about them. But there are.
That's right. And I'm sorry. In audience, he is factually correct. Like if he talked about some of these things, like he'll lose his job and his freedom. So
right.
let's not put him in that position.
There's a lot of compliance in our industry, and so
forget regulations. Tell us how to.
Right? Yeah. Tell me the product so I can go look it up. No, I want to know right now. But there's just so many different, you know, options out here in the world, and no matter who you work with, again, you don't have to be with me because I'm a big advocate that the person you work with, you should vibe with, right? Like, because I want to establish a long-term relationship. I don't want to be a person that just sells you a product and sends you a birthday card once a year and says, hey, you know, check in with me if you need me.
By the way, I'm sorry. People on that end who thinks that marketing technique works, it doesn't. It doesn't. Like, we know that you're just trying to keep us warm for the next time that we need you. We know it. So
correct.
Stop doing that. Actually care.
Right.
And I promise you, we'll love you forever.
Right. Right. Yeah, like I like to know like life events. Like you having a big birthday party. I want us to be so good that we become friends. Yep. More than just a business relationship that you invite me to your birthday party, right? You know, your big 50th, your big 40th, whatever it is, right? And that's how I like to establish the relationship with my clients. And so, but yeah, like getting to the bag is what we all ultimately want to do. And there's no one size fits all because everybody's bag is different. I mean, sure, do we all want to say we want $1 billion? Yeah, me too. Like, if you find the answer to it, please let me know.
It's another show.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to that bag. You know what I mean? Yep. Or even $1 million, or even 500,000, or 100,000. Like, what is the bag to you, right? And what's realistic, right? You know. Because some people out there don't want to be entrepreneurs. Not all your audience is entrepreneurs, right? Some people are going to work that 9 to 5, and that's okay. That is quite. My mom and dad work 9 to 5s, are not entrepreneurs. My mom worked for the VA for 42 years, like, and now has a good pension, right? So, like, you know, that is quite all right.
Yeah.
But if I had been her financial advisor, like, I could have got her more. I could have, you know, made her money work for you. Because at the end of the day, every single dollar that comes into your household should have a job. It should go out into the world and work, and then it should bring back 2 or 3 friends.
So, EJ, I love you saying that, and I get what you mean by saying that. Mm-hmm. There are people that don't.
Yep, I can break it down.
Please.
Yeah. So we talked about like the foundation. The cash flow, right? That's money you're getting on your income, whatever that may be, whether that's a 9 to 5, entrepreneurial side hustles, whatever. Well, don't just go, you know, throw it in a savings account and do nothing while it's earning 0.01%. That money is unemployed, basically.
You're going to go past that. We need to stay there a little bit because that's what we're taught.
Yep, savings, money in a mattress.
Money in a mattress. It's basically money in a mattress. Why is that not the best route?
Well, because that money doesn't grow. Like, and there are instruments and vehicles out here that can get compound interest on there, which means it's growing, multiplying time over time over time. Now, is it a safe route? Sure, because you know where that money is. If that money is in your mattress, you know it's not going anywhere. But that also means like it's all in one place, and if the house burned down tomorrow, that money's going with it, and it is not insured or covered or anything else.
The only problem with that money under the mattress or the savings account, which is basically the same thing, by the way.
It is. Money in a savings account is the exact same thing as money under the mattress.
The problem with that is that if you have $100 under the mattress today, 3 years from now, you're gonna.
It's not worth it. It's not worth $100 because of inflation. Your purchasing power has decreased, right?
Correct.
Inflation continues to happen. You know, rates will probably go down here soon, so everybody's purchasing power will go up. Your dollar will be worth a little bit more in the next year, which means it's a perfect time to start exploring options of what you can do to make it work. And so yeah, the unemployed dollar is just that. It's not doing anything for you. So I help people, again, in the financial literacy space, understand just that concept. And because if somebody can't grasp that concept, we can't even move on to the other 3 levels of the house. And by the way, the 4th level of the house is like estate planning, which is where, like, you know, you're talking about trusts and wills and like all those different type of things, generational things that we want to, you know, pass on. And because especially in our community, we're more liable to pass on generational debt than generational wealth.
My Lord.
And I don't know about you, but I'm tired of seeing GoFundMe's on Facebook and Instagram, you know, because we can't even cover basic funeral expenses. And so, and that's a top level, you know, and we talk, you know, we'll get there. But we got to start on that foundation first.
I want to ask you this. And this is a question that I'm kind of finding, and man, you suck. And I'm going to tell you why.
I already know this.
I'm going to tell you why.
Yep.
I have, where we at? Oh, that's not bad. It's a lot of things that and we can probably still get to them, but like I want to get to them in a little bit more depth. But the stuff that you said was so important that we had to park there for a little bit. So for that, you suck.
Okay. I'll come back anytime you want me.
We're gonna have to. We're gonna have to, because that was, man. Oh God. Okay. This is something that I really want for the cool kids to pull away from this. Particularly, okay, most of us, we're black. We're black, we're brown, we're mocha, we're caramel, we're a frappuccino. That's not frappuccino's not a color.
Vanilla latte.
Vanilla lattes. Shout out to the vanilla lattes.
We like them too.
We're all shades of the coffee spectrum.
Yes.
What don't we know about money that we should?
Ooh, you gonna really hit me with a loaded question like that? You want a whole nother show? Because that's a whole nother show.
That's what I bring to the table. The people need to know.
I mean, I think we've covered it in a sense, and you know, just the fact that you know, money can absolutely, you know, there's different cliches out here, like money doesn't buy you happiness. And you know what does Drake say? That, you know, that sounds somebody that's never had it.
Drake ain't saying nothing these days.
Hey man, I'm gonna get crucified for this, and it's because I'm light skinned, but I'm still Team Drake, man.
No, you gotta let that go, brother. It's over.
Nope. Man, I was just on the mountaintop for 15 years. Eventually, it's everybody's time to you know, get taken down. So, but you know, money doesn't buy you happiness. You know, money doesn't equate to happiness. You know, very true, all true. Everybody's happiness, and we're not gonna get into philosophical things, right? That's not why you brought me here. Everybody's happiness has to come from internal, right? Money cannot buy you happiness. There's rich people committing suicide every day. There's a lot of broke people committing suicide every day too, right? Yep. But money can be a tool to achieving that happiness. I do believe that.
Yeah.
I do believe that we can use it to our advantage, especially our black and brown people. We just don't know how much money, like our buying power, and I don't, it's a whole nother topic, like how much buying power we are in the world. Right. And so we can use it to our advantage, to help us, achieve those goals. But you have to start at the foundation. You have to be willing to take a look in the mirror, and trust me, I am somebody that nobody can't tell me really what they've spent money on that I probably haven't. In the past, I've had the luxury cars, again, when I said, I've been house poor, where it was so important for me to have a house by 25, right? Like my first house. Well, there's things that go into home ownership that people don't know about, right? But we were taught from our parents that we need to own a house.
God bless the parents.
Yeah, God bless. They taught us what they knew, right?
Yep.
And so we have to give them grace, right? Absolutely. Yep. They worked with what they knew. But now it's time for us. There's so many tools out there that we can't claim ignorance at this point, right? Like if you want to buy a home, like don't let it be just for the simple fact that I want to own a home, right? Like you need to know the overhead, the operating costs, like the taxes, like all of that go into that. And so that's why I say, like, what don't we know about money is just financial literacy in itself. It's just how it works and where it goes. And, just overall, like knowing that like it can absolutely, be doing more for you.
I think that, and I 100% agree with you. I think that part of the struggle that we have in our community, it's the knowledge, yes, or the lack of knowledge, yes. But I think a lot of it too is unbelieving the things that we were taught that money is and what money isn't, and who people that have it are and people who don't have it are. And I mean,
the lucky, the unlucky, the blessed, just being fortunate, the unfortunate, right? Circumstances, and yes, they're silver, what they call silver spoon, it's just that we're born into money. Nothing you could do about that, right? And they were born, I was a foster child. I was in 4 different foster homes, right? Like, again, when I say I've lived 7 lives, like I understand, like, you know what I mean? Like we were dealt a bad hand, and, something I shared with my younger brothers was, yes, we were dealt a bad hand, and yes, we have like a sad story. Relatively, I was very fortunate enough to get into a foster home at 6, that the blacks that turned me on a different path.
Listen, it's not funny, but I thought when you said the blacks, I thought that you meant like the race, as in, but like not your last name.
No, not my last name. Right. No,
the blacks.
The blacks. Right. So, but I used to tell them all the time, like, don't be a victim of your circumstances. And I know that probably lands harsh to some people, because some people have been through way worse. But I used to tell them, like, hey, when you're 60, 65 years old, and I give them like the old Forrest Gump, and you're sitting on a park bench, and a lady next to you says, like, tell me about, y'all just strike up a conversation. Are you going to tell her about your story and all the woes and, awes and stuff? I was like, you can do that. And she probably will shed a tear. Or you can tell her that story and say, but I chose to not let that define me. I chose to not let that keep me down. And I did X, Y, and Z with the time I had left. And now I'm a CEO of XYZ. Now I'm a husband, a father, put my kids through college. Now, like that is different. Like it doesn't have to be, again, everybody's bag doesn't have to be millionaire, right? The bag could be, I put my kids through college, right? Like that could be a bag. You got 3 daughters, right? That the bag, like they didn't have to pay for a single thing.
That's good,
because
bro.
I set up educational plans back when they were 11, 9, and 8, right? And now they don't have to pay for anything versus, the generation before us, I had to work while also going to school because my parents couldn't afford to send me to college, right? I was fortunate enough to get a scholarship, but that's not the everyday, child, right? Like, most people are working their way through schools, unless, they were fortunate enough to come from families that had money. So
the whites.
I knew some, I had some friends, that, black friends that also, parents paid all their college, but, yes, you're mostly right. So yeah, like, that's what it's all about for me, is you ask me like, what they don't know about money. It's just that there are vehicles and different things in place that can help them get to where they want to be and their wants, and because everybody has them, right? Even if it's to say you want to buy a boat, all right, well, how much does that cost? Like, what are the operating costs? And some people come to me and they have a pretty good plan in place. Like some people have insurance but I still will find something to take you to that next level, because I care. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what money can do a lot for people if you know what's out there.
I think one of the biggest life changing lessons that I've learned about money is what you just said, is that it's a tool. Mm-hmm. It's a powerful tool. Mm-hmm. It's a very powerful tool, but nothing more, nothing less.
Yep.
And
don't put it on a pedestal.
Yep.
Right, because the old folks say money is evil, or another cliche about money. Money doesn't grow on trees. Money is evil. Like I can think of all these different things about money. Right, like erase all of those things. Right, just think of it as a tool.
Yeah. Yes. And if you are
powerful tool, so it's more like a drill. Like it's not a hammer.
It's a drill. Mm-hmm. It's a drill. And it gets you where you're trying to go faster, more efficient.
Using the hammer in the drill analogy, right? The hammer would be you doing it yourself, right? Yes. Trying to hammer in this TV mount, right? Like eventually, hopefully it'll get there, but it also is not going to be as secure. It's not going to be as well done. Whereas that power drill is going to get it done more efficiently, it's going to be more secure, and it's going to last longer.
And with the hammer, it may eventually be there, but it's going to cause a whole bunch of damage
along the way. And take a whole bunch more of your time, and it's going to stress you out because you're doing it yourself, and it's created damage. And then when it all falls apart, then, you're back at square one.
Yeah. Yes. Listen. Okay. So money is a tool. Absolutely. 100%. Use it as that. Mm-hmm. Thing number 2, change and revolutionize my life, specifically in business. Mm-hmm. And I want you to dive into this a little bit.
Okay.
You can't save your way to $1 million.
No. No.
And we giggle at that, and we chuckle. Let me say chuckle.
I mean, I guess you could. Let me say you can't, because I don't even like the word can't. If you're willing to, and this is an extreme analogy, so people don't beat me up, eat ramen noodles every day for 50 years, live in a studio apartment in Columbus, Georgia, shout out to people in Columbus are making, like, I'm just using that as like, but you work in Atlanta. That's what I'm saying.
Look,
like
we love the Macon people.
We love the Macon. There's not a diss, but this is like talking about commute, right? Like you live far out, so the rent or the lease or the properties are less in Macon and Columbia than they are in Atlanta. Can we just agree on that?
Don't let EJ do that to you. Macons.
Macons? Is that what they call them? I had a homeboy at college, man, a football teammate that was from Macon. I couldn't understand a word he said when he got to college, but, that's a whole nother story.
We love the Macons. Go ahead.
But, yeah. You probably can. Again, 50 years of sacrificing, of eating, again, nothing but ramen noodles and, maybe finding a place where you're paying like $400 or $500 a month and you're maybe a 6-figure earner. And so you're just putting away the rest of that paycheck every month for 50 years. Sure, you can get to it. That is so like 0.0001% chance. It's not realistic. Like, I like to have a conversation with folks. Like, let's be realistic. You know what I mean? Gerald, you like to have a drink every now and again, right? You like to go out to dinner every now and again, right? You like Jordans, right? We
It's true. I do. Yeah. Yes. So yes, that ain't happening.
Yes, you cannot. Like, realistically, and in your words, like I'm saying, you can. Yeah. But it's so far, the sacrifice you would have to make to do it is just so far out of the realm of possibility. So sorry to say, to contest you on that, but like you're essentially right. Yes.
Okay. So yeah. So I'll amend that. If you're that zero,
way out there, take the decimal way out.
Yeah. But none of us who are watching this, we ain't gonna do
it.
So, but it changed my whole life when I heard it once, and I was like, that's interesting. But if you hear something once, it may be a fluke. Mm-hmm. If you hear something 20 times, it's probably a principle.
Yes.
So as I kept hearing it, I was like, that's interesting, because what we're taught to do is we're taught, if you want to be responsible, save your money. Mm-hmm. That's not wrong.
No,
it's just incomplete.
Correct. That is facts.
And probably one of the things that started helping me the most is, and I need your help on this. Mm-hmm. I would make money from the business and then invest back in the business. Mm-hmm. And like, not even so much as just like, equipment and stuff like that, whatever, but probably more so like the knowledge part of it. Mm-hmm. Learning the hows and the whats and the whys and all of that good stuff. And then I started like, okay, here we go. Mm-hmm. And once you start seeing like results like that, then you're not afraid to spend money, because you know that, oh man, okay, if I spend money on this and it gives me this 3x result,
then that was a proper investment.
It's a proper investment. We don't think like that.
No.
We think, I got $100. What am I gonna do with $100? Let me put it under the mattress and let me buy these Jordans. Let me do some, or the bag, so how that was my revelation with money and saving money. Like, from your standpoint, what do you see that as?
So when I sit down with prospective clients, we'll say, and we're having that basic conversation, right? And we're having just a back and forth about how do they feel about money? Are they a spender or a saver? All these different things I like to find out. And I ask them, what do they do for a living? What's their income? How much are they bringing in a month? Expenses and all that, right? But then, like, my basic question is, when that money comes in, and I could even ask you, Gerald, like, who do you pay first?
I know the answer that I should say, but I'm gonna probably say the answer that most people say, which is, including myself. I pay my bills first.
Correct. That is absolutely correct. People say, I pay my house note, I pay my mortgage. I mean, the same thing, right? I pay my mortgage, I pay my car note, I pay my car insurance. I pay all these different things. I'm like, wow. Okay. Not a bad answer. That's absolutely what most people say. So you're not wrong in the sense of that. That's what everybody tells me.
Yep.
Let me ask you this though, Gerald. Who goes to work and makes that money?
It's me.
right?
Yep.
Who spends 40, 50, 60, 80, 100 hours a week breaking their back to make that money?
It's me.
Also you. So why are you not paying yourself first?
Because I won't cut my lights off if I don't get paid.
That's true. Very true. But can you do both?
Yes.
Aha.
Yes.
So you know that you could do both. All I got to do is educate on how to flip them, the order that you do them. You're going to do both. I would never advise you on something where you couldn't do both. But I'm going to make sure that you flip that order. You're going to pay yourself first. You're going to invest in yourself. So that is paying yourself first. Buying knowledge, buying equipment for your business to scale it. That is all investing in yourself. That is paying yourself first. Putting money away in life insurance so that your kids, your 3 kids, your wife have money in case something happens to you and you're gone. That is paying yourself first. Putting away money in an emergency fund. That is paying yourself first. Paying off your debt. That is paying yourself first, so that American Express can stop charging this 28% interest on a monthly basis, right? Or Chase or whoever it is that you have, right? That is paying yourself first. And then, yes, you still have to pay the mortgage. You still have to pay the electric. You still have to pay your car note. But make sure you do, and again, it could be as simple as $100 a month. That's what I'm here for, to see how much discretionary or disposable income we can devote to paying yourself, because that could look like anything. It could be 100, it could be 200. We might find 1,000. We might find whatever. And again, I work with people of all different income levels. But I'm going to make sure before you leave here, even if you don't work with me, that I've convinced you to start paying yourself first. And then we can pay everything else.
Let me tell you my light bulb moment while you were just talking. I think so many of us who kind of take the financial literacy, financial journey thing, we've heard some version of pay yourself first, and we do believe it. But we know it from the aspect of, I make $100, I'm going to take 30 and I'm going to put it in this account, and like that's my paycheck. But like when you were saying that it goes into other different areas,
Buckets.
Different buckets.
I tell people, going back to value props, right? I tell people I help people find money. I also can say I'm a bucket maker.
I love that.
Because
EJ, I love that.
And really, essentially everything falls in 3 buckets. There's taxable money, there's tax deferred, and then there's tax free, right? My job is to help you figure out how we can get as much money into the tax deferred and tax free buckets, because Uncle Sam gonna always get his money. Like death and taxes, 2 things we're guaranteed to have, right? So yes, you're absolutely right. Like there's different buckets.
Man, let's go.
That's a gem.
Listen, I may take that sound bite, and that may be you know what? In honor of you changing my life and changing everybody's life, we're gonna take a little pause. You're gonna say that's a gem, and that sound bite, that's gonna be the sound bite for the rest of the season.
I like it.
Okay, so hold on. Let me get the settings. All right, we're gonna y'all shh. All right. I'm going to count you in, and you're going to say it. Here we go.
That's a gem.
That's awesome. You are forever going to be a part of this show.
I love it. Let's go.
It's gonna be that's a gem. Every time we got it, we're gonna hit that.
Yeah.
But, man,
because you're gonna have some dope guests, and I can't wait to watch who else you have on. And yeah, they're gonna be dropping gems as well. So Johnny dropped gems on episode 1. So shout out to Johnny again. That's how we met. So I gotta keep shouting out Johnny. Buckhead Networking Group. Shout out to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to the BNG.
BNG. Shout out.
We're gonna make them unofficial sponsors at this
There we go.
point.
There you go. You got to. You got to.
Because we're all here because of the BNG.
And if I can figure out some way around compliance to be a sponsor, you got me too. I just got to run it up the flagpole.
we're gonna have an angel sponsor.
yes, maybe might be.
Oh man, Elijah Black. Man, thank you so much. How can we find you?
Yeah, I think I dropped the IG handle, always bet on black 06. And then just EJ Black on LinkedIn and on Facebook. I don't have a TikTok. I don't know. So I probably should though. I know it's a good marketing platform, but yeah, I don't have one. So yeah, that's how you find me. Yeah, I won't drop my personal email address or anything like that. But
what's your telephone number? The ladies want to know. No. The ladies want to know your telephone number. Oh man,
555.
Were you ever? Well, we're right around that same age. And,
Yeah.
Were you ever in the Mike Jones era?
Yes, I'm from Texas, bro.
Oh yes, that's right.
I was just talking to somebody yesterday. Yesterday was June 27th. A big celebrated holiday because that was like the birth of screw music in Texas.
I was like, tell me because I ain't.
June 27th. Just listen to the mixtape June 27th. Texans, shout out to all my people from Texas. You know what I'm talking about? Yesterday was June 27th. So yes, very familiar with Mike Jones. Yes.
Okay.
281-330.
8704.
Yeah,
I know it ended
hit
with
Mike
both.
Jones on the low. Yes.
Man, that was probably the smartest marketing in the history of music.
Yes.
My Lord. Shout out to Mike Jones.
Shout out to Mike Jones.
We gonna get Mike Jones. I was gonna say we're gonna get him on the show.
Yeah, we need to. Hey, Mike, you need to hear this, man. Come on.
Come on to Atlanta. Listen, cool kids. Hey, listen. I think, man, we got so much. We got so much good stuff. We got so many gems today. I hope if y'all don't reach out to Elijah or EJ, reach out to some version of him. Because a lot of the things that we think about money, it's just not true. And and a lot of and I want actually EJ, I want you to it's kind of like the appeal at the end of a show. I don't know how
Closing statement in a case.
Yeah, I don't know how this turned into this, but I want you to talk to the people who are like, man, I get what you're saying. It's correct. I know I need to make the first step. I'm a little bit afraid to. Like, just talk to them. Like, if it's just like maybe 2 or 3 things that they can take away. And obviously, the real answer is talk to him because you don't know. You're the dad who's trying to teach your kids to swim. It ain't going
for 3 straight summers.
It don't work. but talk to them and let them know like what do they need to do, and what can they take away.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you again for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. I think if anything, key takeaways is that money is a tool, and it's never too late to start building your financial house. Okay. And yes, the foundation is what 80% of us, 90% of us are stuck in some way, trying to figure out, right? The cash flow. But I promise you, if you have a conversation with anybody, because you shouldn't do it alone. And I'm, again, not even just an advocate for me, or advocate for financial advising in general, because there's different structures on how to even do this, right? So people will say, I can't afford a financial advisor. I promise you can. Just have a conversation. And again, I don't know how other people structure it, but there's very creative ways. But I promise you we can find like money to, as going back to the beginning of I find money, I promise you that, I can help find it. And then not only that, I can help you devise a plan together in partnership to make it work for you, to be that tool so that when you eventually want to retire, you have that luxury and you don't have a worry, in the world. So, just start thinking about it. It's always scary to take that first step. I've been there. We don't like to be vulnerable, and that's why I like to share my story. I've made 6 figures and had my bank account in the red because I spent too much money. I was in D.C. partying it up. So I've been there, driving a Range Rover, people not knowing, like I'm barely, like I've been that. I've done it all. It's never too late. That's really what I want people to think. Some people may think, they're, down and out, or it's too late. They may be 55. Oh, it's too late for me to start. No, it's not. We can do something. I promise.
With that, I don't think that we could end any solider than
Solider. I like it.
It's a real word.
It's a real word.
It's a real word. All right, I'm gonna put his information in the show notes below. And y'all, I promise you, we just came to give y'all some value, but really probably the best value that I can give you right now is talk to him or talk to some version of him. Mm-hmm. And I think we'll be on our way. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that's it. What a great show. Thank you for my guest, Elijah Black. Ladies, bombard him. you know you're gonna get at least $150 a day. Until the next time, hey, y'all go change the world. Don't let the world change you.